There's this unspoken rule in business: you're not a real success until you've had your exit. But who wrote that rule? And more importantly, why are we all following it like sheep? Today, we're going to challenge everything you've been told about selling your business and explore a radical idea. What if staying is the new leaving?
It is the ultimate entrepreneurial myth. We are conditioned from day one to believe that the only true definition of a successful exit is a massive liquidity event, a giant, oversized check. But the reality of stepping away from your life's work is far more complex, and honestly, far more interesting. Today, we are looking at why the absolute best exit strategy for a business owner might actually be the no-sale exit.
Exactly. It completely flips the script. We are so obsessed with the transaction that we completely forget about the transition. If you do not sell your life's work to an outside buyer, what do? Do you just lock the doors and turn off the lights? Or is there a hidden menu of options that actually preserves wealth, sanity, and legacy much better than a traditional corporate sale?
There is absolutely a hidden menu, and accessing it requires a profound mindset shift. When you take the traditional sale off the table, you suddenly realize your business isn't just an asset waiting to be auctioned off to the highest bidder. It is a highly flexible vehicle, and the first option on that hidden menu isn't exactly a secret, but it is incredibly misunderstood: keeping it in the family. Generational succession.
It sounds beautiful on paper, doesn't it? Passing the torch to your children, keeping the family name on the building. But I imagine the reality is a lot less like a heartwarming movie and a lot more like a high-stakes television drama. You aren't just transferring assets, you are transferring authority, which is a very heavy crown to wear.
That is the perfect way to describe it. Family succession is deeply emotional because the founder has to actually let go, which is notoriously difficult for Type A personalities. You are handing over your identity, but when done right, a no-sale family transition is incredibly powerful. It preserves the impact your business has on the local community, it protects the employees who probably feel like extended family anyway, and it keeps the wealth-building engine in-house. The trick, however, is treating the next generation like actual executives, not just heirs. They have to earn the respect of the floor workers, not just inherit the corner office.
Right, they need to earn the crown. But let's look at a very common modern scenario. What happens if the kids have absolutely zero interest in running a manufacturing plant or a logistics firm? They want to be software developers or artists. The founder looks around the Thanksgiving table and realizes there is no heir apparent. The immediate thought is usually, well, I have to sell to a competitor now. But there is another group of people who know the business just as well as the founder, maybe even better.
The employees. Yes, the employee buyout or an employee stock ownership plan. This is arguably one of the most elegant no-sale exits out there. Think about it logically. Who has more skin in the game than the people who helped you build the company? Transitioning ownership to your management team allows a founder to step away gradually. It is essentially passing the baton to the very people who have been running the relay race with you for decades.
And it avoids the absolute nightmare scenario of a private equity firm swooping in, stripping the company down for parts, and firing half the staff to boost short-term margins. By selling internally, you get to protect your legacy and reward deep loyalty. It has a tremendous societal impact too. Keeping businesses locally owned anchors wealth in the community instead of extracting it to Wall Street. But I have to wonder about the financial mechanics of that. Your top managers don't usually have millions of dollars sitting in their checking accounts to buy out a founder.
That is where creative financing comes into play, specifically seller financing. In this scenario, the founder essentially acts as the bank. You agree on a valuation, and you get paid out over time from the company's future profits. It provides a steady, passive income stream for your retirement, and the employees get ownership without needing a massive, high-interest upfront loan from a traditional bank. It aligns everyone's incentives perfectly. If the company thrives, the new owners build wealth, and the founder gets their full payout. It is a brilliant win-win.
That leads perfectly into another fascinating no-sale route. You mentioned a passive income stream. What if the founder just doesn't leave, or rather leaves the day-to-day operations but keeps the equity, retaining ownership while stepping completely out of the operator role?
The transition from owner-operator to pure shareholder. It is the ultimate flex, really. You hire a rockstar CEO, you build a solid board of directors to hold them accountable, and you step back. You get to keep the golden goose, but you stop waking up at 5 in the morning to feed it. You just collect the eggs.
I love that metaphor. But letting someone else feed the golden goose requires a massive amount of trust and structural integrity. It means building systems so robust that the business isn't entirely dependent on the founder's magic touch. I feel like a lot of founders struggle with this because their ego is deeply tied to being the smartest person in the room. They suffer from a sort of psychological phantom limb syndrome when they stop putting out daily fires.
Ego is the enemy of a successful exit, without a doubt. If the business collapses the moment you go on a 2-week vacation, you do not own a business. You own a very demanding, high-paying job. Transitioning to a passive ownership model forces a founder to build true enterprise value. It is a brutal mirror to look into because it highlights every operational flaw you've been ignoring. But if you can pull it off, you get the absolute best of both worlds. You keep the cash flow, you maintain the legacy, and most importantly, you get your time back.
Time being the ultimate luxury. But let's walk into the darkest corner of the room for a second. There is a no sale exit that feels like a dirty word in the entrepreneurial community. Liquidation, shutting it down. People view closing the doors as a massive, embarrassing failure. Is it?
Not at all, and it is a tragedy that it carries such a heavy stigma. Sometimes, an orderly liquidation is the most mathematically sound and peaceful decision you can make. Let's say you own a highly specialized consulting firm or a niche contracting business. The value of the business is entirely tied up in your brain, your personal relationships, and maybe some heavy machinery. A buyer is not going to pay a premium for your goodwill because they cannot replicate you. You are the brand.
So instead of spending 2 stressful years trying to find a magical buyer who doesn't exist, paying exorbitant broker fees and enduring endless due diligence, you just sell the assets.
Exactly. You sell the trucks, you sell the building, you collect the outstanding invoices, you pay off your creditors, and you walk away with a very clean, very quiet pile of cash. There are no warranties to worry about, no stressful transition periods, and no angry buyers calling you 6 months later complaining about a broken machine. It is a clean break. We really need to stop romanticizing the business entity itself. A business is a tool designed to generate wealth and serve a purpose in your life. When the tool has served its purpose, it is perfectly okay to put it back in the toolbox and close the lid.
That is a profound way to look at it. We attach so much of our human identity to these corporate entities. We treat them like our children, but they aren't children. They are economic engines. Recognizing when the engine has run its course or recognizing that it can run on a different track without you at the wheel is a sign of immense maturity. It strips away the vanity metrics of business ownership.
It requires stepping back from the daily grind and asking a very philosophical question. What is this all for? If the goal of entrepreneurship is freedom, a traditional sale is only one path to that freedom. The no-sale exits, whether that is family succession, employee buyouts, passive ownership, or even a strategic liquidation, give the owner ultimate control over the narrative. You aren't at the mercy of market multiples, economic downturns, or ruthless private equity negotiators. You dictate the terms of your own departure.
It really redefines what it means to win the game of business. Winning isn't necessarily a flashy press release announcing a corporate acquisition to the world. Winning is exiting on your own terms, protecting the people who matter most to you, and securing your own peace of mind. As we wrap up this exploration, it becomes clear that the for sale sign is just a symbol and perhaps an outdated one at that. The real finish line is freedom, however you choose to architect it. Whether it is empowering your loyal team to take the helm, watching your children evolve into seasoned leaders, transforming yourself into a quiet shareholder, or simply selling the assets and walking into the sunset with a clean slate, the true power lies in knowing your options.
The greatest asset any entrepreneur has isn't their inventory, their intellectual property, or their customer list. It is their optionality. When you finally realize you do not have to sell to succeed, you unlock a completely different level of strategic thinking. You stop building a business just to make it attractive to strangers, and you start building a business that actually serves your life.
A brilliant distinction, building to serve your life, not a future buyer. It leaves us with a critical, thought-provoking question for anyone running a company today. Who are you making your business more valuable for, yourself and your family, or an outside buyer? That shift in perspective might just be the most valuable exit strategy of all.